What would you think if we called this podcast The Overflow?
The Overflow. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
The Overflow. From youth group to the dinner table, helping parents continue the conversation. This week, Eric and I kick off the semester by introducing the often misunderstood and stigmatized concept of mental health in the church. We discuss how to help your teen get the most out of youth group this year, or maybe even pick up some new info to help improve your own mental well-being. Enjoy!
This is fun.
It is
I'm
fun.
excited. I was actually thinking this morning as we were walking around, I'm like, welcome to the unnamed, we have no idea, Samoda Mindset something podcast.
That worked too.
I'm excited for this year though.
Me too.
This is going to be a lot of fun. This fall semester is going to be really interesting. I'm excited for different people to get involved too this year. Like way excited for different people to get involved because this gives us an opportunity to, one, introduce people to our kids, get our kids to know different people within the church, and give some people in the church that haven't really had much of an opportunity just because of life in general to kind of impart into our kids this year. And I'm really excited for that because that's going to be like Melissa coming is going to be, I'm super jazzed about that.
Yeah.
And having her talk to kids and then giving kids to just the ability to kind of share like, hey, you know what? I have a friend that is dealing with this that I hope turns into, well, okay, so I kind of maybe do too. And
Asking for a friend.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So let me see. There's this person that I know. Her name's Erica, and she's dealing with a lot of like unknown in the future, and it's stressing her out a lot. And she doesn't really know what to do. And I'm excited for that. I think that's going to be a lot of fun.
Me too.
I think that'll be cool. So what are you most looking forward to?
Similar. I think mental health has been such a big theme in my life. And huge.
Who did
bummer.
that? Gosh.
So I'm excited to bring that kind of into the public sphere. I got to give a talk at Ladies' Night last year on mental health.
Loved that, by the way.
Yeah, and it was so well received and people were so excited about it. And there were so many people that came up and talked to me afterwards about, this is something that I deal with too. And I'm so glad you said something. And thank you for being public about struggle.
Good.
So I'm just excited for it to become less stigmatized among our kids.
Right. And what's crazy too, so when I started in law enforcement, when I started 19 years ago.
19 years.
19 years ago. Yeah, right? I'm still young though.
You are.
I just keep my hair short so it doesn't show the gray. But 19 years ago when I started in law enforcement, there was kind of this beginning transition that you could see where people were like, hey, there's some stuff that we deal with in law enforcement that's pretty bad, and we should probably address that. And so within the small law enforcement community, I feel like personally, I saw a transition there of, hey, it's okay to talk about some of the stuff that you have to deal with. There's a lot of trauma that you deal with. There's a lot of bad things that you see, things that you have to deal with as far as death and dealing with really angry people that are on substances that are chemically altering their mind and they don't really know what they're doing. And so being able to talk about that and that it was okay to do that. I saw that transition probably happening before I saw it even in the community. You would step away from law enforcement and I'd talk to other people in the community, like just out and about. And they would be like, I can't really say anything to people about that stuff though, because people are going to think I'm weird. And I'm like, this is strange coming from an environment that is very type A personalities, right? Like law enforcement officers are very much in control and have to manage situations and have to deal with really traumatic things and have to deal with taking people in really difficult situations and sometimes people at their worst and make it okay. And those guys have to always be in control and in control of their emotions and taking care of that. Whereas that's not as much of a requirement out in the public. But for it to be okay for law enforcement officers to go sit down with somebody and be like, hey, we're going to talk about your feelings. And be like, I don't have feelings. Those don't exist. And They're like, no, they really do. But then hearing from people, like I have friends still today that are really good friends that are like, yeah, I don't really like to show my emotions around people very often because it's not a cool thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, dude, like I know cops that'll cry with cops and will sit down and love on each other. Why are we not doing that? And then you bring it into the church and you're like that's what we're supposed to do.
Yeah.
That's a requirement. Like we have to bear burdens with one another and care and love for people. And for us to not be doing that and not welcoming it and be willing to. And those conversations are hard. And I think some of the struggle there with some people too is they don't feel sufficient enough to be able to take that on. So they're
like
an
equipping problem there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They're like, well, I can't do that. And I'm like, man, all you have to do is listen. Like the vast majority of that is just somebody needs somebody to talk to. So just sit and listen and just be like, oh, that sucks. Like that sounds really hard. I'm sorry you're dealing with that. Man, we could pray about that though. And we have a Father that loves us and understands what you're going through. Like is so much more knowledgeable about what you're dealing with than you yourself are knowledgeable of it. And eventually that may lead into, you know what, hey, I am not the person that can help you through this other than just being the person to love you and listen to you. But I know some people that we can get you plugged in with that can help beyond what I can. But there's a lot of times too where it doesn't require that much or that clinical, I guess, of counseling, that it's just, they just need somebody to talk to. And they need to feel like it's okay to share that. And it's okay to open up. And they're not weird. And they're not stupid for doing that. They're broken because we're all broken. We live in a broken and sinful world. So they are broken, but they're not broken beyond repair.
Yeah.
And it's, I think as a church, that's something that I think all churches could do a little bit better job in.
That's good.
So, yeah.
So we are talking about mental health in the church, mental health in our kids. I brought some statistics to share with you.
Ooh, I
today
like stats.
Because we like numbers.
I do like numbers. I'm a nerd.
Just to double down on how important this is among our kids specifically. So students aged 6 to 17 with mental or emotional concerns are 3 times more likely to repeat a grade or drop out altogether.
Wow.
1 in 6 U.S. aged kids 6 to 17 experience a mental health disorder each year. 50% of all lifetime mental illnesses begin by age 14 and 75% by age 24.
Okay.
And
that frontal lobe development there.
Yes, it's the thing. And then suicide is the second leading cause of death among people ages 10 to 14.
And that's nationwide or worldwide?
This is nationwide.
Nationwide. I'd be curious to know what that is locally within Wyoming.
Probably not great. We usually don't do well.
We don't. Yeah. We really don't. And you've heard for a long time, I know I have anyway, that, well, it's the long winters that we have and the sun's not up as long. But there's other, Montana, is that Canada has way less time in the sun than we do. So there's something more to that, I think, than just, well, there's not enough vitamin D because they're not seeing the sun as much. There's more to that. And I think some of it is, again, that stigmatized that we talked about. Is it really okay to share? Is it really okay to talk about and express what you're feeling? And I'm not and I think anybody that listens to this would understand, like, that knows me. I'm not the safe space guy, right? Like, we need to find them. But it's okay to talk about it and it's okay to discuss it. And sometimes it's okay to hear things that maybe you don't want to hear. And sometimes it's okay for people to have to go, this isn't as big of a deal as it really is, as I'm making it out to be, right? We deal with junior high girls. I mean, come on now. Is it really that big of a deal? Probably not, but it could be. And in their life and in their world at that moment, it is a big deal. Perspective is huge, right? Just coming back from Guatemala and what we got to see there, perspective is huge. And so what they know and understand and have lived and experienced is different than other people. And so helping people sometimes just understand a perspective. And as sometimes the not safe space kind of gruff dad, I can definitely be that, stop it. Like, it's not that big a deal. Move on about your day. And that can sometimes be beneficial to some people, but other times maybe they need a little bit more love and care. And that's why they have you.
Good team.
That's right. That's right. When you're finally like, look, they're just not getting over it. And I'm like, I got you. Stop it. This is enough. We're not going to do this anymore. It works well.
Yeah.
It works well. That's what I love about our team, right? And even beyond just you, Ben, and I, but when we look at all of our other volunteers that we have, which are amazing, and we love you guys and are so grateful for what you do, that really helps. I truly believe that helps so much with our kids connecting with people.
So talk to me a little bit about maybe some of the mistakes that have been made by the church in the past as far as mental health goes and counseling and the approach that we're taking.
Yeah. So we have churches in America and in the world that will tell people that if you are dealing with this issue, your faith is failing or you don't have enough faith. Mm. And so you need to pray more and you need to read more and you need to seek God with your whole being and your whole heart, because you're not right now. And that's what's causing you to deal with what you're dealing with. And that is a lie, 100% a lie. And to hear that, just really, I struggle with that a lot, because I can't find a scripture one that supports that theme, supports that mindset, supports that theology. That's just bad. And we deal with mental health issues in our nation and in our world. And for somebody to be told that you don't have enough faith makes them feel like God doesn't love me then. Because if I don't do everything right, then I'm punished for it. And that's just so unhealthy and so scary. Mm. And I can attest to in my own life times where I was actively living in sin and dealt with a lot of anxiety and dealt with a lot of struggle through that. And it was because I was living directly in sin. Mm. And until I repented of that and sought forgiveness and sought healing in relationships that I needed to, was I relieved of that. So there are times and there are situations where, yes, what you're doing in life and how you are living can affect your mental health. But that is not all the time in all the cases in everything. I can look at my own daughter, who I know loves Jesus and has struggled with anxiety for a very, very long time. And do I think that she just doesn't have enough faith? No, not at all. Do I think that that's just something that she battles and struggles with? Yes, I do. And it's a bummer. And I love the fact that she has people in her life that can help her work through that anxiety to still be able to do life well and love others well and pursue God with her whole heart while still dealing with anxiety issues. So, yes, people struggle with mental health that are children of God and that love Jesus and that are saved. And so as we approach this fall session with our youth, that's the mindset that we're taking, and that's the path that we're going down. Is there are mental health struggles and there are mental health issues that we deal with. Satan is really good at what he does, and we have chemical imbalances in our lives that cause us to have to deal with mental health issues. And Some deal with it more so than others. And some need clinical help. That's why we have Christian counselors. That's why we have people like Melissa and I think of Alicia here in town that do what they do. That's what you're pursuing right now. I mean,
baby counselor
in your degree. So, I mean, it's because these people understand and see that there is a burden that is placed on these people that is a medical condition that they want to help these people through and to love these people well by diagnosing what they're dealing with. And it's super important. So that's the view that we're taking. It's more of a holistic view of mental health, taking both the spiritual side of it and the clinical side of it to discuss this with our children.
Yeah.
And really excited about that.
That is exciting. Be really great.
Yeah.
I don't think the church can afford to be quiet.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Well, good. So I think the hope with this then, moving forward with this podcast, is that we would be overflowing what we're talking about in youth group through talks and our tribe time together and questions that the kids have, stuff that they are wrestling through, and then talk about it here, go a little bit more into depth.
Yep.
And then hopefully equip parents for the drive home and the dinner table to continue to discuss these themes with kids. So is there anything that we want to say now at the beginning of the semester to begin to prepare parents for conversations they're going to be having with their kids?
Mom and dad, be okay with having uncomfortable conversations.
Amen.
Like, I want you guys to be able to have a difficult conversation with your kids on the drive home, at the dinner table, before bed, in the morning when they wake up. Like, you have to be okay to have that uncomfortable conversation. And it may not have been something that you had when you were a kid. I can look back. My parents love me to death. I know they do. I know that they cared a lot for me. That was something that we didn't talk about. It was try harder, work hard, and you're going to be successful. You just need to work hard and pursue excellence, and you'll do fine. And that was what I was taught my whole life, and which isn't bad. Don't get me wrong. I don't fault my parents in that anyway. I appreciate that level of discipline that they really pushed in my own life to do well. Don't just do something, but do it well if you're going to do it. And so, yeah, mom and dad, please listen to your kids. Listen to what they have to say. Seek help if you don't know how to respond. That's okay to ask. And I can promise you right now, mom and dad, that Kendall and I don't have the answers to everything. That's why we have people that we reach out to as well to try and help get that. So if it's something that your child is dealing with, if it's something that your kid's struggling with, and we don't have the answers to that, we're going to help with that answer. But have those conversations and don't afraid to be vulnerable either with things that you may have struggled with or you may have dealt with. It's really incredible when you can open up to your own children and let them know that they're not alone. That, hey, this may have been something that you battled as well. And when they can hear that and go, oh, I had no idea that my mom had that problem, or that was an issue that she dealt with. She hid that so well. Or that dad has been dealing with this. What, really? I had no idea. Through this podcast, through this overflow, as Kendall said, we're going to provide kind of a little understanding of what we discussed throughout the week. We've got coming up, your first talk after launch night is going to be on truth. What is truth? What's real? And I'm excited for that. And then we're going to dive into identity, which I have no doubt there's going to be conversations that come from those topics. So if there's something that we have coming up that we think is going to be maybe touch a chord with your kid, we'll try to give you guys a little heads up too in this. As we reach out to mom and dad through this, what do you see as being the most beneficial part of what we're trying to do here?
I think the conversations that are going to hopefully stem from parents being more well-informed on what we're talking about on Wednesday and Sunday nights. Hopefully that's a good heads up for them for, like you said, maybe topics that are a little bit more difficult or personal for them, hopefully we're able to equip them with some questions. And I know, like, even for me, after my mom would pick me up from youth group as a kid, she'd ask what we studied and what we talked about. And the token answer is always nothing. We didn't talk about anything.
We talked about God.
Might have read the Bible. But parents, now you are going to know exactly what we talked about. And hopefully that helps you have a little bit more of a conversation starter for your kids.
We are going to include scripture with every one of these two because we're not going to have a podcast about what we're teaching our youth without any scripture. So I'm going to make this one really easy for you guys this week. But there's a kind of a challenge that I have in my own heart and in my own life that I'm going to memorize all of Colossians 3. So if you guys want to memorize Colossians 3 with us, the entire chapter, you can memorize an entire chapter of the Bible. I promise you can do it. So I'm just going to do the first four verses of Colossians 3. So if you have been raised with Christ, seek the things above, where Christ is, seated at the right hand of God. Set your mind on things above, not on earthly things. For you died, and your life is hidden with Christ in God. When Christ, who is your life, appears, then you also will appear with him in glory. First four verses. You guys got that. I know you can do it.
Those are fire.
It's going to be amazing. Super excited, you guys. This is going to be such a fun year. We'll dive into more of what's coming in the spring when we get closer. But we're going to shift gears in the spring. It'll still be a lot of really good opportunities to have discussion with your kids. And maybe you might pick up a few things here and there too. So be tuned in. And we're excited to hear questions that you guys may have too. And if questions come up throughout this entire time, please do not be afraid to reach out to Kendall, Ben, or myself. And we would love to hear what you guys have to say as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, this has been the
overflow.
Yeah.
I like it.
Cool.
That's going to be good. I see swag coming.
I'm sure there'll be swag coming.